Trump, Prince of Peace or Agent of Chaos? A critical examination of his foreign policy reality.
It is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you the 45th and the 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump campaigned as a Prince of Peace, but recent actions suggest aggressive interventionism at home and abroad. Donald Trump once projected an image of someone who could bring stability to a fractured world order, a leader who would prioritize peace over endless overseas conflict.
A tide of change is sweeping the country, sunlight is pouring over the entire world, and America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before. But first, we must be honest about the challenges we face. While they are plentiful, they will be annihilated by this great momentum that the world is now witnessing in the United States of America.
Yet, over the past months, a widely reported pattern of actions tells a different story. Harsh sanctions, military interventions, public threats of force, and disregard for international norms.
Late last night and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress. In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world.
These are not isolated events. They are a series of choices that, taken together, raise serious questions about the disconnect between rhetoric and reality. From sanctions to military action. Sanctions have been a pillar of the Trump administration's foreign policy. Intended as economic pressure, they have often gone far beyond traditional targeting to inflict broad damage on civilian populations. This punitive strategy has been most visible in Iran, where renewed maximum pressure, sanctions were reimposed and expanded in 2025, contributing to economic strain and hardship.
Iran had no money when I was president. They were out of money. They were bust. They had no money. They weren't giving it to Hamas. They weren't giving it to Hezbollah. They weren't giving it to anybody because they didn't have any money. They were just about bust. And in fact, I put sanctions on last night. Any oil that anybody takes from Iran is not allowed to do business in the United States of America.
These measures widened in scope to include broader restrictions on key sectors, exacerbating Iran's economic crisis. Russia, where Trump threatened escalating sanctions and tariffs to force opposing war decisions in Ukraine, a stark shift from his earlier posture of cautious engagement with Moscow. Sanctions alone are aggressive forms of policy. They are intended to coerce and punish. But in Trump's second term, they are often paired with military posturing and threats of force. Venezuela. From sanctions to strikes and capture. In early January 2026, the world was shocked by headlines reporting a U.S. military strike on Venezuela, involving airstrikes on Caracas and other regions, followed by the capture and removal of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores. Trump publicly stated that the U.S. would run Venezuela during a transitional period and refused to rule out further deployment of American troops.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious, because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela.
This was not covert or tentative operation. It was openly announced and widely covered as a direct assertion of control over another sovereign state's political future. The operation prompted global outrage. China, Russia, and Iran condemned it as a violation of international law and a dangerous precedent. The United Nations Secretary General expressed deep concern over the implications for global peace and stability. Latin American governments warned that the use of force undermines sovereignty and threatens regional peace. Sanctions on Venezuela preceded the intervention, including U.S. seizures of oil tankers and aggressive economic pressure. But the leap from sanctions to bombing runs, capture of heads of state, and declarations of temporary governance is unprecedented in the modern era. That reality clashes with any claim to peace leadership. Iran, threats of intervention over internal unrest. In late 2025 and early 2026, Iran experienced widespread protests driven by economic hardship and state repression. Instead of diplomatic restraint, Trump issued highly unusual public warnings about intervention if Iranian security forces violently suppress peaceful protesters, saying the U.S. was locked and loaded to act. Tehran responded sharply, warning that any external interference would destabilize the region further. This kind of rhetoric, a conditional threat of military action tied to internal domestic protests, is extraordinary in diplomacy and sharply escalates tensions without clear legal basis. Ukraine, Russia, and global fragility. On the Ukraine front, Trump has combined threats and sanctions aimed at pressuring Russia to end its war. Yet his approach has been inconsistent and heavily focused on leverage rather than negotiated peace. Reports show Trump considering large-scale financial penalties to force diplomatic outcomes, but without a comprehensive peace strategy. Critically, mixed signals from Washington have emboldened harder lines on both sides. Global responses, making the reality clear. The global response to Trump's actions has been far from celebratory. Cuba condemned what it called state terrorism in Venezuela, highlighting long-standing U.S. pressure and sanctions. Iran, Russia, China, South Africa, Mexico, and Colombia all denounced the strikes and capture of Maduro as unlawful and destabilizing. The UN voiced alarm that unilateral military actions undermined international law. Even some U.S. allies called for respect for international norms and peaceful transitions rather than force. These reactions reflect a consensus. Forceful interventions and threats undermine regional stability and international law, not build peace. Is Trump a prince of peace? The reality check. Trump's rhetoric about peace has consistently fallen short in execution. On the ground, the world sees economic warfare through sanctions that hurt populations and deepen crises, rather than negotiated settlements. Military strikes and operational interventions in Venezuela with far-reaching consequences. Public threats to intervene based on internal unrest, as seen in Iran, which escalate risk without United Nations backing. An aggressive posture toward conflicts like Ukraine that relies on pressure rather than multilateral engagement. These are not acts that stabilize. They intensify mistrust, fuel opposition, and fracture international cooperation. If peace is to be more than a slogan, it cannot be built on punitive economics and unilateral force. Conclusion. Peace claims, policy results. Donald Trump's foreign policy since returning to the presidency has repeatedly diverged from his earlier claims of peace leadership. Instead of diplomatic restraint and multilateral engagement, we have seen unilateral military actions without broad international mandate, sanctions deployed as coercive tools with humanitarian fallout, public threats of intervention in other countries' domestic affairs, global backlash from state actors and international institutions. A prince of peace would not risk violating international law, destabilizing regions, or normalizing interventionist threats. The reality of Trump's actions paints a different picture, one of power projected first and peace spoken of later. And in global politics, the order of those priorities matters more than the words used to describe them.
One of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about it, there's some other good ones like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi, and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites just recently in an operation known as Midnight Hammer, all perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly in just a short period of time. All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have. It was dark and it was deadly.